Good morning, boys and girls. Today we are going to go over the numbers 1, 2, and 3. For most of us, we already know how to show the number 1, right? We show the number 1. Everyone look right over here. The number 1. So everyone put one finger up just like this, right? We know the number 2. The number 2 is usually just like this, right? How many? 1, 2 fingers, right? And last of all, we have the number 3. The number 3. 1, 2, 3. But there are other ways that we can show these numbers in different types of scenarios. So here we have, let's start with the number 1. If everyone can look at my number 1. We also have a dice. The dice says what number? Good, number 1. Also, which we have done in class before, we have 10 frames. Everyone say 10 frame. 10 frames are ways that we can also look for the number 1. How many boxes do I have? Well, let's count the boxes with my letter green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 red boxes that fit 10 numbers inside. But today, how many circles do I have in my red 10 frame? That's right, I only have 1 because we are doing it under the number 1. So I can use a 10 frame because it only fits 10 to find a number 1 in it. Good. Last but not least, I have my little hand right here. And how many fingers does my hand have up? Good. So these are 3 ways that I can make the number 1. Very good. Now let's move on to number 2. Number 2. Here I have a dice, and the dice has number 2. We have 1, 2. Good. Then we have our 10 frame. Everyone say 10 frame. 10 frame. Good. The 10 frame has how many dots inside of it? Let's count together. Ready? 1, 2. Very good. The 10 frame shows 2. How many numbers fit in a 10 frame? 10, but we're only using 2. 1, 2. Very good. Last but not least, we can also show the number 2 with our fingers. How many fingers do we have here? 1, 2. How many? 2. Very good. Now, next, we're going to look at the number 3. The number 3. Okay. Here we have a dice. And how many purple dots do I have? 1, 2, 3. Just like the number 3. Very good. Then we have our 10 frame, our handy dandy 10 frame. How do we say it? 10 frame. Very good. How many dots are in my 10 frame? Let's count. 1, 2, 3. 3 dots in my red 10 frame. Very good. Even though there's 10 dots in there sometimes, today we only see 3. Very good. And last but not least, we can always hold out how many fingers here? 1, 2, 3. We have 3 fingers that I can use my hands to count with, right? So, boys and girls, overall today we learned about the number 1, 2, and 3. We learned different ways to find the numbers in different scenarios. So here we have number 1 in dice, 10 frames, fingers. Number 2 in dice, 10 frames and fingers. Number 3 in dice, 10 frames and fingers. And we have 3 possible ways we can look for the number 1, 2, and 3.